How do I fight cancer, fight colds and flus, which are extremely dangerous while you're fighting cancer, and enjoy a great snack? Or, if I do get a cold or flu, how do I recover faster? Well, I eat large chunks of fat. This is grass-fed beef fat, and I use it to make tallow for my cooking, but it also boosts my testosterone, my D3, and other hormones that are produced in your liver. Yeah, hello everyone. So this morning I'm just going to show you what I eat on the carnivore diet. Now this does fluctuate a bit. Now I have a few choices for each meal, and it depends on how my week is going. Now my weeks will fluctuate between 2MAD and OMAD. And my months will fluctuate with my fasting periods as well. So at the moment, I'm doing 2MAD. I'm quite active at the moment. I'm moving house. Everything's going on. It's quite a lot going on. So I have three favorite options for breakfast. Okay, and I'll usually eat my breakfast about between 8 and 9 at the moment. Now, I get up, about between 4 and 5 a.m. So I've got a few hours of fasting there. But my options usually go for either just eggs. Okay, I'll have up to 8 to 10 eggs. Now I'll either eat that in just fried egg, omelette, or scrambled eggs. 3 options for that. Like eggs are fantastic, they're usually 1-to-1 protein to fat, and also very good for vitamin D and quite a few other things. So eggs are fantastic. My other choice, probably my favorite choice, is just to eat fat, just ruminant fat, either lamb or beef fat. I'll just fry it while I'm making tallow, and I'll fry it till it's nice and crispy, not too crispy because I want it to be quite fatty still, quite thick. So I like to have big pieces of fat for breakfast because it's my energy source. When you're fat adapted, you want as much energy and fat is much higher in energy than anything else. So I like to eat just plain fat as well. Now, the more fat you eat as well, the more EZ water you produce as well. So I don't need to drink as much water through the day on days where I eat more fat. So it's also very good for that. Now my other choice is smash burgers. Just maybe sometimes I'll eat just a few smash burgers. I like to get, when it comes to ground beef or mince in Australia, mince meat, I just get the cheapest meat because it's usually the fattiest. Okay, so I always try and get the fattiest meat I can. As you can see in the picture behind me, that was a meat delivery. I always get meat on sale because in Australia the meat is very expensive. So I always try and make sure that when I buy meat, it's always on sale. So my cuts will vary depending on the prices at the time. I usually prefer to eat lamb. Lamb is 10 times the amount of omega-3s in the fat, and it's very fatty meat. But when it comes to my afternoon or evening dinner, then I usually eat at about between 4 and 5 p.m. That is my favorite time to eat. It gives me quite a few hours to digest everything before I sleep. But my favorite meals for dinner are always ruminants, either beef, lamb, or even seafood if it's available. But if I eat seafood, then it's going to be red meat and very fatty, like salmon or tuna or something like that. But again, I try to make sure that I know the source of it. If it's seafood, then it has to be wild caught. I don't eat monogastric animals like chicken. It's too lean for a start. Pork, I don't like to use that because it's usually fed on grain, and it's very high in deuterium compared to other meats, ruminant meats. But that's about the only reason why, actually. But I'm very happy on those meals, so that will vary. Now, I also, if I'm on a 2MAD week especially, I will fast between Friday afternoon and Sunday. So I usually have a 2-day fast, and the first day will be a dry fast at least. And depending on my month, I will do once a month I'll do a 3-day extended fast as well, 3 to 5 days, but that's pretty rare. Maybe every 6 months I'll do a 5-day fast, but at the moment I'll do a 3-day fast, or up to like a 1 to 3 day fast. If I do 1 day, it'll just be a dry fast. If I do 2, it could be a dry fast, or 3, but that does fluctuate. It does change depending on my activities. If I am very active, then I will not fast as much. And depending on how active I am, it depends on whether my week will be OMAD or 2MAD as well. Okay, now when it comes to the water, there's a lot of deuterium depleted water is probably the best, especially if you're going through treatments, like if you have cancer, but it's extremely expensive. The next best thing is to use a reverse osmosis water filter. Now, that's also very good, but you need to remineralize your water as well. Now, I've been known I will filter my water, and then I will boil it, and then I'll cool it in the fridge. But I always remineralize it with a good mineral salt, like the one I use, the Murray River salt. Is full of electrolytes and things like that, so minerals. So that's basically it. And my water consumption would depend on, again, my activity, and also my diet. Like, I don't need to drink so much water if I eat more fat through the day, so because you produce more easy water that way. So that'll all depend. I don't drink a lot of water, and again, I live in a very hot climate, so this is going to depend largely on where you live as well. So I probably do drink more than some people that would live in a cold climate like England or something like that. And it does change to the season as well. In winter, like it's summer here in Australia at the moment, so I'll have maybe 4 glasses of water. In winter, maybe less. So depending again on my activity and how much fat I eat. Okay, so that's basically it, how I eat. Now, I've spoken about this before, and if you have any more questions, please just leave them in the comments. The reasons why I eat these foods should be pretty apparent by previous videos. But again, if you have any more questions, just leave them in the comments. I just want to say also that my videos are not so frequent at the moment because I'm in the middle of moving house. So it's going to take me a couple of weeks to settle and to get everything organized so I can start doing streams and Q&As and things like that again. So bear with me, and I will try and get as much done as I'll try and get everything settled as soon as I can, and we can talk more then. Thank you. Okay, so today I'm having eggs. I have 8 eggs to start for breakfast. So I'm going to make it in an omelette form today. I always preheat my pan. I use a stainless steel pan. There's nothing to, it's a little bit easier than doing the iron pan, and a little bit, I don't have to worry about the things of non-stick pans like that. That's my favourite pan. Okay, so I've got 8 eggs. Right. Just I don't bother, put them in a bowl. I'm mixing. I just use an old protein shaker. Chuck them in there, and then I just shake it up. Ready to cook. Okay, so now I've just got to preheat my pan and put my, I make my own tallow. When I eat fat, I always make my tallow, and then, I eat the fat, because actually most mornings I like to eat fat rather than anything else. It's my favorite breakfast. So, we're fat adapted, so fat is our energy source, and it's the best energy source. It lasts longest right through the day. So I love it. That's great. So I like to have quite a bit of tallow in the pan when I'm cooking. Never run out because I always eat more fat. So don't worry about using too much. Let that heat up. Like I said, I use a nice stainless steel pan. Okay. Iron pans are great too, but I just think they're a bit of a pain when it comes to maintenance. This, stainless steel is very good, they're very durable, and nothing comes off them to worry about health wise either. So I find it very good. Okay, my tallow goes back in the fridge. Okay, let's just let that heat up. I've got my natural carnivore t-shirt on. That's just one of my new t-shirts. The eggs are a fantastic breakfast. This is not every morning, okay? This is, I like to eat up to 10 eggs a day. I like to eat eggs every day. Great for testosterone for a start. But vitamin D, fat is really good. But, one of my other favorite breakfasts is just fat, just either beef or lamb fat. And lamb fat is my favorite because it's very high in omega-3s. It's 10 times the amount of other ruminants such as beef fat. Okay, but beef fat is just a great either snack or breakfast for me. And that's what I do 2 mads anyway. If not, then I'll have a high fat dinner. And I eat dinner. My favorite time to eat my last meal is between 4 and 5 in the afternoon. 2 mad weeks. Some weeks I'll have 1 mad or OMAD. But sometimes I might even have 3 mad. On weeks like that, I will usually fast on the weekend. So I will fast between say Friday afternoon to Sunday afternoon each week, and every now and then, or maybe once a month, I'll do a 2 to 3 day fast, prolonged fast, or I might do just a 2-day dry fast. So I have a bit of a fasting routine. It does fluctuate depending on what I'm doing, my activity levels for the month and for the week, each week. And it also depends on how much I've eaten through that week or through that month. There we go, the pan's nice and hot now. Let's pour those eggs in. There we go. Alright. So you can see that. There we go. So it was nice and hot before I poured that in. That way you got less chance of any sticking to the pan. Okay. I'm going to put the lid on for a bit. Now I have two salts that I use. I have a fine grain Australian hand harvested salt for cooking. It's a cooking salt. And I also have a flake salt. This is a pink salt that is from Murray River salt. Okay, that's one I like to use. It's my favorite. It's hand harvested. It's in flakes, so it's less processed. It's pink because it's full of minerals. Really good salt. So I like that very much. Plus, it's Australian, so you know it's pretty good. Alright, so sometimes especially if I'm cooking like burgers or steak or anything like that, I'll sprinkle a little bit of cooking salt in while I'm cooking, and then I'll use the pink salt. I'll use that afterwards. Alright, so now we just let that rest. That will thicken up, it'll fill up with air and so on, and be a nice thick omelette, and I'll show you that in a minute. Okay, so we're almost there. Now I like to let it cook mostly through from one side, and then when it's still got a little bit of liquid on top, I'll just flip it in half, turn the pan off, and it'll cook by itself. Do this while holding the camera. There we go. Just going to flip that in half. Let's do that. Move that around. You see there's plenty of tallow in there. Okay, that's looking quite good. Now that's not quite cooked, but what I'll do, put it down, grab the lid. Okay, turn that off, and I'll just let that sit for a few minutes, and then I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, so I've given that a few minutes now. Let's see what it looks like. Okay, so this looks nice and good. Yeah, see, so it just finished the cooking by itself, just from the heat of the pan, and it's all good now. So let's put it on the plate. Nice big omelette. Now I'll just leave that tallow in there for my dinner tonight, and that's around 4 o'clock. So good. Nice big omelette. Yeah, it's delicious. And add cheese. It's still carnivore, but nothing like a grated cheese, okay? Because that's full of all kinds of other chemicals and so on. But nice, good, solid cheese is good. Melts away in the omelette, and you put it in the fold it over, and cheese is fantastic. Cheese omelette. But I'm very happy with just the eggs, and that's just one of my breakfasts.